Last week, football fans worldwide witnessed an explosive and dramatic match at Santiago Bernabeu between two of the most iconic forces in football at the moment, Real Madrid and Manchester City. While Pep Guardiola's squad holds the current reigning champions title of the Champions League, on the other side of the battlefield, Los Blancos are also the most historically rich team in the competition. Both teams created a goal feast with a total of 6 goals evenly distributed between them. This also means that both will start afresh at the starting line in the rematch at the Etihad, and the outcome of this match will contribute to deciding the ticket to the semi-finals. Manchester City will have a slight advantage as they play on home turf, which is often seen as a fortress difficult for any team to conquer. Surely, many cannot forget what happened here almost a year ago when coach Carlo Ancelotti's team suffered a humiliating defeat with a score of 0-4 on their journey to Manchester. However, it's important to remember that in football, all historical records and advantages before entering a match are just references. No one can predict what will happen. And Real Madrid is also brimming with confidence to settle old scores and break the streak of not winning at the Etihad. Before the kickoff, a sea of blue smoke and an atmosphere of fervor enveloped the stadium to welcome their respective stars. It seemed as though they wanted to boost the players' spirits while also overshadowing the opponents to demonstrate that everyone was ready to bring home a victory. In the opening minutes of the match, a tug-of-war situation unfolded with slightly more control in favor of Man City. As usual, Pep Guardiola's tactics were proactive, aiming to seize control and initiate attacks to approach the opponent's goal. Meanwhile, the away team maintained a cautious attitude, often retreating to form a solid wall in front of goalkeeper Andriy Lunin's goal, patiently waiting for opportunities to launch calculated counterattacks. Of course, with such a scenario, Man City was the first to create a dangerous opportunity. In the 8th minute, from what seemed like a simple wing attack, a triangle pass put Kevin De Bruyne in a position to cross towards Erling Haaland. However, Lunin managed to intercept his intention to feed Haaland. 3 minutes later, Real Madrid also found their response early, receiving the ball outside the penalty area and seeing just enough space in front of him. Eduardo Camavinga swiftly unleashed a long-range shot, but the strike lacked the power to trouble goalkeeper Ederson. However, the away fans didn't have to wait long for the official celebration to begin at the Etihad. Indeed, just a minute later, Man City's net trembled. A corner of the Real Madrid supporters' stand almost exploded after the 2001-born player scored the opening goal. Meanwhile, silence was the most fitting way to describe the emotions of the citizens' fans at this moment. No one could have imagined that on their fortress, Man City would concede a goal so swiftly. Although they still had plenty of time ahead to turn the tide of the match, it would be a daunting task when the spirit of Real Madrid was soaring high. As for Rodrigo, in the eyes of the Madridistas at this moment, they couldn't even recognize him as Rodrigo anymore, but perhaps as Cristiano Ronaldo. It's hard to keep track of how many times he has brought crucial goals for the Whites in big matches. Perhaps he is gradually becoming a new Mr. Champions League for the Madrid capital team. Returning to the match's developments, facing an early setback, coach Pep Guardiola had to increase the pressure on the away team's goal, but it seemed like this was not an easy day for Erling Haaland and his attacking teammates. In the 17th minute, Jack Grealish's defensive effort helped create space for Bernardo Silva to deliver a rare cross into the box for Haaland in a moment where he managed to escape Rudiger's marking. Despite his efforts to outjump everyone and head the ball, the Norwegian striker's attempt only sailed over the crossbar. 2 minutes later, it was still Erling Haaland with his header. This time, luck favored Real Madrid again as the ball found the crossbar. In the rebound, although the space was opened right in front of him, Bernardo Silva seemed slightly startled and let the scoring opportunity slip away, much to the dismay of the thousands of Man City fans in the stands. Gradually, in the following minutes, the pressure exerted by Pep Guardiola's players increased. Kevin De Bruyne and then Jack Grealish both attempted shots. However, they still couldn't make Andriy Lunin's net bulge even once and had to watch their opponents enter halftime with a lead. With 63% of ball possession and 11 attempts on goal, including 3 shots on target, Man City's dominance in the first half was evident. However, in the most crucial statistic of all, goals, Carlo Ancelotti and his players performed better. They remained resilient, weathered the storms, and capitalized on even the slightest mistakes of their opponents. Entering the second half, the script didn't change much. It was still waves of attacks towards Lunin's goal. The pressure Man City exerted was so intense that Nacho almost scored an own goal. Fortunately, he managed to rectify his mistake just in time. As time ticked towards the end, the gaze of the Citizens fans shifted from worry to desperation, and their savior appeared. None other than their captain, Kevin De Bruyne. From a cross by Doku on the left flank, Rudiger awkwardly cleared the ball right into the path of the Belgian. Faced with a golden opportunity, he didn't disappoint the fans, slotting the ball past Lunin to equalize. Watching Kevin De Bruyne's goal not only reignited hope for the home team, but also seemed to lift the burden that he and his teammates had carried throughout most of the match. Just a few minutes later, he almost secured a brace to complete a remarkable comeback for the Manchester side. However, his header from within the 16-yard box sailed over the crossbar. If sharper at that moment, De Bruyne could have completely thwarted Real Madrid's efforts from the start. Even Pep Guardiola on the sidelines seemed to express his disappointment by clasping his hands to his forehead. In the following minutes, both teams likely contemplated scenarios for extra time. Perhaps the most notable moment was Man City's substitution in the 90th minute when Julian Alvarez replaced Erling Haaland. While Haaland had moments where he almost became the hero, overall, his performance against Real Madrid failed to satisfy the fans. With only 2 shots on target in both legs and no contribution to any goal, unable to decide the winner within regular playing time, both teams truly had to brace themselves for extremely tense moments in the 30 minutes of extra time. Here, Man City still appeared to be the more dominant side. It seemed like they wanted the match to be decided on the field rather than relying on nerve-wracking penalty shootouts. On the other hand, things became even more difficult for Real Madrid as Vinicius couldn't continue playing shortly after being outpaced by Kyle Walker. This also meant that Real Madrid now lacked quality firepower on the field, and perhaps coach Carlo Ancelotti would want his team to defend resolutely to drag the game into a game of chance in the shootout. With the score still level after 30 minutes of extra time, now both teams would have to enter the decisive penalty shootout to grab the ticket to the Champions League semi-finals alongside Dortmund, PSG, and Bayern Munich. In the first round of penalties, Madrid had a favorable start as Luka Modric, the most experienced star of Los Blancos, missed his shot. However, 2 consecutive saves by Lunin against Bernardo Silva and Mateo Kovacic turned the tide of the shootout rapidly. And in the end, the Real Madrid players made no further mistakes to officially secure their spot. Once again, we have to emphasize the resilience and steely spirit of Real Madrid. It's what helped them settle the score at the Etihad a year ago and turn Man City into former champions of the tournament. As for Man City, their dream of defending the treble has ended. Thus, after the Champions League quarter-finals, English teams have been wiped out. And this also means that the chance to claim the 5th spot in the prestigious Continental Tournament is virtually over for Premier League representatives. Once again, this is TD Sports. If you find this video appealing, please support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel to stay updated with the latest and most exciting sports news of the day. See you all in the next videos.